Hello and welcome to another 44
44 dicks?
Hello and welcome to another edition of 44 Teeth. Now, as the brand grows and me and Chris are both busy doing stuff, launches, prepping the budget bike battle bikes, we can't be in the same place at one time, or more than one place at one time. So we've had to hire in the services of an industry legend for the Tiger 800 launch, and that is Mr. Chris Moss.
Hello, Alistair. How's it going?
How are you, Pet?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
I'm all right.
Now, it's fair to say you've had a bit of a checkered history in your launch sort of career, isn't it?
I think it is fair to say that. I'm just wondering what you're about to...
I'd just love to bring up the famous incident we were talking about earlier, where you said...
oh, yes, to a senior Bridgestone man.
Where you said, Gunter, you why don't you off back to Belgium and make chocolate because your tyres are shite. So anyway, Mr. Moss, Mossy, as he's affectionately known, you went to Morocco for the launch of the new Tiger 800.
I did.
And Triumph claim, it's funny, isn't it? These bikes this year from Triumph, we've had the Speed Triple, the Tiger 1200 and the sort of modern retro bikes. Rather than revolution, it's evolution. And there's lots of different changes. And Triumph claim 200.
You
Is
do.
that right?
But I'll listen, 200, you could change the dust cap, couldn't you? And that'd count for one. I'd go along with what you're saying. This is a bloody good bike, but it's a bit better than the previous bloody good bike. So it's a bloody good bike and some.
Yeah.
They were a bit cheeky with some of the claims. They gave you the impression that the engine was radically different.
Yeah.
They talked about it being optimised and having, I think, greater inertia or something. I think in actual fact, it's just the lower first gear and the freer flowing exhaust.
Okay.
But very much enjoyed the bike.
So you had 2 days, didn't you? Well,
I did.
It's not just an in and out launch. You had 2 days in Morocco. Where'd you go? Marrakesh?
Flew to Marrakesh and then they took us into their Atlas Mountains.
Okay.
And because the Tiger 800 is an adventure bike, they thought it would be an adventure for us to sort of get accommodated in a bivouac.
Oh, nice.
So the 5-star hotels were changed for a big tent. And you know what? It turned out to be great to be in that sort of environment. It really sort of made you feel a bit matey, you know?
Okay.
Instead of being in one of these sort of fancy but very impersonal hotels, it was all pals together, you know?
Oh, nice.
But no, proper good launch. And one of the main reasons, from a professional point of view particularly, was we rode the two top models of each of the R and C classes. R for more road work.
Yeah.
C for road and a bit of off-road work. I'll come to the differences in a minute. But there are 6 models in total, and they gave us the 2 top ones.
Of course.
XRT is the top of the range from the R model lineup.
Yeah.
And the XCA is the top of the range from the road off-road style lineup. But no, day one, bit of time on the R, bit of time on the C. Do you know what? They were clever. They gave us a great route to really assess both bikes. And instead of sending us down some dusty path for the off-road riding, we got to ride properly off-road.
Okay.
It was generally hard pack, but there were some challenging bits where it got a bit snotty. It was easy to dive off. You know, you needed to have your wits about you. And the bike needed to be reasonably competent, which it was. I mean, I'm not going to praise it too much because I like riding proper enduro bikes.
Yeah.
And compared to them...
It's a big old heifer.
It is. But listen, if you choose the right place, say you choose some fire roads in Wales or in the Peak District, you know, nothing too taxing, and you've got the right tyres on, Triumph put these Pirelli Scorpion Rallies on.
The new ones, yeah.
Yeah, really good. Surprised. Yeah. But no, I like the bike. You know, really quite versatile. I don't think they were quite knee down, but you could get a shift on and feel confident.
So let's just rewind. So day one.
Yes. Day one of the big Triumph launch.
Day one, pet. So day one, talk us through, what's it like on the road?
Super competent, you know, just... This is the sort of bike, and this was the case. Within 5 miles, I just went, I need to go on a long ride here. I need to ride this bike home because it's giving me that impression that, what is it, from Morocco? It's a good 1,500 miles, maybe. No, I'd be getting on for sort of nearly 2, I would think, by the time you get yourself into the bottom of Spain and then all the way up. Not a bother.
Wow.
Listen, 5 miles is hardly a test, but as I found by the end of the day, you know, I mean, like super comfortable, super easy. Not a super exciting bike, you know, it's not a super bike, but it's got some punch in the middle. Nice, soft, usable sort of delivery of power down the bottom. Lovely soundtrack. Bit more so this year because of the more open pipe.
I say, could you notice a difference between the engines? You know, was it a tangible difference?
Do you know what? It's probably best that I don't comment.
Okay.
I may well do a side-by-side test and find out, ooh, you bugger. But given the changes to the exhaust and just the lower first gear, I don't think so. Okay. No bad thing. Listen, if you couldn't feel any difference, it still wouldn't stop you giving a great vote on the motor. It's sort of like the rest of the bike, super easy, super usable, super manageable, and it can help you ride that bike fast without making you shit yourself.
Yeah.
You know, they're only making a claim 94 horsepower, you know. But the beauty of it is you can just get on the throttle and use all of that and not go, woo, I'm going to die, or wheelie all over the place, you know. So, yeah, very sort of realistic, real-world bike with the capability to thrill a bit. You know, you decide. You decide on the pace. You decide on the level of thrill that it's going to generate.
The old bike, the previous model, was an exceptional road bike. You know, it had everything in its armoury.
Yep.
It was exciting enough to give you a decent ride. It handled well.
Yep.
And like I say, the engine was half decent anyway. So, but there was no major chassis changes, was there?
In the off-road based bike, there is some new suspension.
Okay.
It's longer travel. And I did really quite like that, you know. I mean, Morocco was useful in that, though there were a surprisingly high number of good roads, there was a lot of rough stuff as well, and you could get the thing tipped over, get on the gas, and the combination of the tyres, I'm pretty sure they were Metzler Tourants, and the good suspension meant that, you know, even at lean, you could get on the gas and feel confident. You could feel the thing working over the bumps. And yeah, there was a good... Do you know what? Things like the brakes and the suspension and the steering, they just sort of did everything so well. I had to sort of consciously consider them in due course because they were just doing the job so well. I didn't almost notice them, you know. As far as chassis changes are concerned, again, just a few refinements. It's the same frame and the same swing arm.
Yeah.
The off-road bike has got spoked wheels, 21-inch front wheel. The road bike's got cast wheels and a 19-inch front. I think I think you could just tell a bit of the difference. You know, it just felt a bit more direct with that 19 inches. But not night and day. It wasn't a case of I couldn't do with that 21-incher on the road. You could still ride it fast. Still steered pretty nicely. Just felt a little bit more vague. You could just tell, you know. The bike sits a bit higher because it's got longer travel suspension, so it gives it a bigger seat height. However, you can get a lower... The seat's adjustable to drop it down a bit.
So you adjusted yours then?
I think it was in the low setting anyway.
Okay.
Are you having a go?
Nope.
Fucking cheeky bastard. The road-based one, you can buy a lowered version of it as well. It's got specific suspension for that bike.
Okay.
It's not a bodged version. It's been designed to sit lower. Some might like that because, like all adventure bikes, it's got a fairly tall seat height.
Yeah.
And you can get a bit intimidated by it. Yeah, fucker. I mean, do you know what? I think it ranges from about 9,100 quid to 12,450. the more you pay, the more you get
Yeah.
in terms of spec. So there's a bike there's a Tiger 800, there's a Tiger 800 to suit everyone.
It's £9,000 it's not a bad price, is it?
Not bad, not bad.
And again, you know, okay, yeah, £12,500 for the top spec one. You're sort of edging on KTM.
Yeah.
Premium 1090 sort of top spec 1090s, aren't you?
Again, do you know what? I won't be drawn. I'd like to maybe... I'd need to recall
You
more...
won't be drawn. You're a professional journalist. I'm answering. I'm asking the questions.
Who's
Pet.
been spreading that rumour? I'm going to fucking have them for slander. Listen, I've ridden that 1090 off-road and I did like that.
Yeah.
And it comes with proper tyres as standard. Listen, the good thing about that XC is it gives you the option. That's a truly versatile motorbike.
Yeah.
Like I say, the only thing you need to be wary of is if you were a really good off-roader, and I'm not, you know, we've seen guys, you know, on big KTMs and certainly GSs that have no right to be doing what the bike's doing, but they're making that bike perform. That Tiger is as good as you are.
Okay.
If you're a really good rider, then you could start getting quite ambitious with it off-road. Listen, for those little tests on that off-road route that Triumph had, I must admit, I looked at hills and I looked at some of the muddy, sandy stuff and I went, fucking hell, man, I'm going to be on my arse here. But, you know, got on the gas and it got through.
And you didn't crash once?
By sheer luck, I managed to stay on bird. Yeah.
Because, I mean,
bird,
you do and bird. And bird. But, you know, you do love a crash, don't you?
I don't mind.
So what do you like about it then?
Do you know what? Right, I'll start with the bike overall,
Yeah.
shall I? I like the fact that it's just a sorted package. It's a go anywhere, anytime type bike, and it just does everything really quite easily. It tootles through town easily. It goes a bit mental and copes with that very easily, and it's just competent at all points in between, you know. Listen, if I had 10 bikes in my garage, please, I'd probably end up putting more miles on something like the Tiger 800 than anything else, even if I had, you know, ZX10, GSXR, because that's the bike that sort of, it just welcomes you to ride it, you know. Doesn't matter where you're going, it's going to do the job well. Just very effective. And most of the bits on the bike and the way they perform fit in with that. The motor, for instance, super usable, super friendly, pulls. You can use big gears, just get on the gas and it'll drive forward. Similarly, I spent a lot of time in maybe one gear and just went from low RPM all the way around, massive speed range.
Lovely spread of power.
Oh, big style, yeah. Doesn't vibrate. It's not sort of becoming intrusive. I like the combination of the suspension, the tyres and the brakes. Again, you know, it just meant you could get in attack mode and it'd help you out.
Pegs down?
Only on the road bike, because that sits a bit lower. It caught me out, actually, but the only time you scrape them is probably just before you bumped into the Armcore. Comfort. That was very, very impressive.
And important for those looking to buy the bike.
Oh man, it's a massive selling point now, isn't it? You know. Listen, I'm not going to lie. I rode it for a long day and I rode it for half a day, but I certainly got the impression, and I certainly wanted to ride the bloody thing home. I kept saying to the Triumph blokes, look, you know, you're putting on all this stuff for us and spending a bomb on it. Why don't you just bloody drop us off at the airport and give us a ferry ticket and send us home? And do you know what? That Tiger, I liked it, but I reckon if they let you do a trip like that, by the time you got home, you'd love it, and you wouldn't let them have it back.
But to be fair, this was quite a nice test, wasn't it?
It was good.
Two whole days in Morocco,
it was good.
Riding a massive range of terrain.
It was the variety. Listen, somebody's had to think about this and thought, right, you know, we need to show this bike and all its virtues in the best possible light.
Yeah.
And they've chosen, even on the road, you know, a lot of slow stuff, a lot of rough stuff, a lot of dangerous stuff, a lot of faster flowing stuff, smooth stuff. Then they've taken us a bit off-road. But, no, all credit to them. We had a long day on the bike. I mean, that last night when we rode home in the snow and the 1 degree temperature and pitch black, the bike just got on with it, you know. It sort of, it kept you warm.
You were sulking, but the bike just carried on.
Exactly that, exactly that. New 5-position hand adjustable screen.
Okay.
Bloody good. Listen, it's a boring day perhaps when you want to rave about screens, but do you know what? To adjust it, you just grab hold of it and go yank.
Yeah. It's a little bit shame they haven't put the electronic version, like the 1200.
Listen,
I'm a tart.
It might add another 50 quid.
True.
Do you know what? When you get to 12,450 quid, you're already going, bit salty. If you ride it, you think it's worth it. But, you know, if you start adding fancy bits like electronic suspension, screens, etc., you start putting it near a 13 and more.
It is better than having to take both hands off the bars.
Oh man, easy. No knobs. Grab it, yank it.
Yeah.
That's what she said last night. You can buy a load of luggage for it as well. That's extra, and it's £1,550, you know. I said the Triumph Plus, I said, fucking hell, that's a bit salty. And he looked at me as though I was some impoverished fucking northerner, cheeky bastard. Do you know what? It's what it costs, isn't it? They're alloy. Listen, a lot of Triumph owners are quite affluent. They want that sort of thing. I bet they don't bat an eyelid at that.
So you've given us the good bits. What don't you like about it?
Do you know what? And I need a bit more time on it. Every time I came to a halt to do pictures or whatever, I did the kill switch. And I rocked it back on. And when you hit the starter button, it goes, not yet. We just need to go and check the functions are working.
The noughts and ones go through the cables
Do you know what? It probably lasts half a second, but I just want it to go bang and fire back into life. Now, I should have checked that when I was off-roading. You know what it's like off-road. If you are going along and you stall it, say you're going uphill or something, you need it to go again straight away, this might put you in a bit of hot water, you know. I don't know, I just found it a bit annoying, but that puts into context just how much I like the motorbike.
Is that it then?
Yeah, that was
really?
it. That was it. I mean, force me to dislike something, I try, you know. Loads of boxes were ticked.
Okay.
Tank range, big thing for me, I'm pretty sure is going to be easily big enough. It's going to be 180 to 200 or even more.
And what size is the tank?
19 litres.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's the same.
Right. Let's talk about Morocco.
Yeah, man.
You had a nice little, was it 4 days out there?
Flew in, 2 days riding, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, 1.5 days riding and then half a day off to look round Marrakesh.
And I heard there might have been an extortionate bar bill.
I heard that too, but do you know what? Because I wasn't paying, I didn't care. Somebody said, listen, I think there was 30 of us in this bigger tent.
Right, in the group tent.
The group tent.
The orgy tent.
The orgy.
Yeah.
Right, well, we'll come to that actually. Yeah. I was about to claim no sexual sort of connotation should be made. Hang on. Let's talk about the bar bill.
Okay.
I reckon there was 30 of us. There wasn't a shortage of stuff to eat. Do you know what? This bloke brought out a bloody lamb on a tray.
The whole lamb?
Yeah.
What, trotters and all?
The lambs have trotters.
Well, you know,
Pause.
The hooves.
Now, they chopped the extremities off, but the main animal was definitely there.
Okay.
And a load of veg and stuff. And we did drink quite a bit. But the bar bill was £3,000. So that's 100 quid each. Listen, we had a good time. We had a good time.
Does that explain the footage I got sent of you belly dancing?
I'm just trying to. I'm trying to see if there could be any. Oh, what, the drink?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Listen, have you ever seen a belly dancer perform.
I haven't, no.
Nah, you've
No.
not lived, lad. You've not lived. They always beckon you.
Yeah.
It's not like I got up and said, fancy a bit of a shuffle, pet. She just said, come on then.
Come on, let's have it.
Yeah. Anyway, so I wobble up because I've had a gallon of gin and tonic. I think I had. I think that was my my preference that evening. And as you can see from the video, I thought, listen, I had all my bike kit on. I had this same set of bike kit with a fleece on and a hat because it was bloody cold in that tent.
Yeah.
So
That's what you told her.
well, and as I approached her, I thought I'm overdressed for this. So I exposed my mound of flesh, and I reckon I won the belly off.
Okay.